capabilities. And I think that that's one of the challenges. There's a professor, I don't know, I read it secondhand, but a professor from Harvard who made a comment about green energy really being red energy. And I think, being able to understand the supply chains and the supply chains for especially kind of the transition economy, the green technology, a lot of that resides in China, but then also for the nuclear component, it resides in Russia. So we really need to be smart, I think, when we're thinking about this transition to, renewables, because right now we don't, we're reliant on places like China for a lot of the inputs for that, for the solar and even wind farms and such. So,
yeah, there's no question that I mean, I like that expression. Green energy is really red energy. There's no question that if you want to have windmills or solar, you're going to be using a lot of Chinese product. And I think something that a lot of people are missing is Chinese mining, Chinese manufacturing does not adhere to the same environmental regulations that the United States does. And so, a lot of people who are in favor of this kind of energy are doing so because they think it's good for the environment. In fact, what we're really doing is just transferring some of the pollution from the United States to China, but it's worldwide pollution, right? You can't keep pollution local. On the nuclear side, didn't we sell a number of years back a large amount of U.S. uranium reserves to the Russians?
I believe so. I don't know. I don't follow that.
Yeah,
that
I believe Secretary Clinton was in charge of that.
We haven't been strategic in our energy outlook. I mean, we have resources. We have oil and gas. We've done more to gain some energy independence, but now we're sort of going back to energy dependence on others through the green energy reliance on places like China. And this is going to be, I think there's a movement and there's opportunities for the mining sector. The government's actually getting involved. I'm very much for the free market and government being minimally involved. But I think for some issues like national security, the government needs to play a role because private sector isn't or hasn't focused on these. They're more focused on the bottom line instead of some of these other sort of securing production capabilities, which might cost more, but ensures that we have access to rare earth metals and some of the other components that metals and minerals that are important for green technology. So I think we're going to get there in everything from chips to mining and minerals, but it's going to be a 10, 15-year transition probably if we really focus on it. And that, again, offers opportunities for, potentially investment in those areas because you're going to see competition between China and the US in these areas. The US, the Europeans have woken up, thankfully, to a good extent about sort of the domination China has in these important areas. And so they're pouring in resources, they're putting in policies. Some of it's state-backed or state-owned even. But I think it's going to be a bumpy ride, and there's going to be probably increased costs over the next 10 years, just as in general, globalization is a little more fragmented. And but I think we can get there. But it's, again, there's going to be opportunities, but there's also going to be challenges because China's going to be, trying to continue to have its monopoly in some of these areas.